All right. Just awfully proud of our coaches and players. Bouncing back. It was kind of cool to have all our coaches on the sideline and in the booth today for the first time. Hopefully, we'll continue to get some of our guys back as we go through this season. But I mean, I think it's pretty obvious what the story tonight was: creating turnovers on defense, and rushing the football on offense. I really thought the defense really settled down and played really well in the second half. Limited the run attempts that they did have to little or no gain, and then we covered down pretty well, played a little bit more man coverage in the second half. So happy to get the win. I think Boston College is a really well-coached, tough, hard-nosed football team, and I feel fortunate to come out on the right side of it.
Let's start with you.
Yeah, Justin, could you start with the secondary? You guys made some changes. I think Devin Taylor was at safety, moved over Divine. How'd you kind of come to that, and how'd you land on who started Dorian at cornerback tonight with Jermaine out?
Well, Dorian's been playing really well, so we thought he deserved to start. I mean, we're still down some guys in the back end, so some guys that weren't available, some guys that just came back on Friday, so they were in uniform but hadn't practiced in 2 weeks. So that's kind of what we were down to. I thought Devin did a great job filling in. He had a week of practice at safety and did a really good job.
How hard was that for him? I mean, came in, played a little bit of cornerback for you guys, missed a couple of weeks. How impressed was him to just fill in, and I don't think he left the game there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been hard on all those guys. It's just been a difficult situation. But, he's really anxious to contribute to this football team. When he was thinking about coming here, I talked to his dad and Dev, and, they were anxious to play defensive back. Whether that was playing corner or playing some nickel or whatever it was, they just wanted this opportunity to come play and play DB, and he's been a big contributor. He continues to get better, and I'm just proud of him and happy he's here.
Andy?
And Justin, Hendon does not look like he's had any rust on him, even with the time that he missed. Have you been impressed with how quickly he's been able to kind of come out of the gates in this first game and a half that he's played?
Well, I mean, yeah, I have been impressed with him. You bet. There's still some things that we need to clean up that we can do better, but he had a really good fall camp. I'll say that. And he's worked hard, and he's gotten a chance to reap the benefits of that. So, I am impressed and pleased and feel supremely confident in him and the other guys, quite honestly, to go out there and do their job.
You had him and the rest of the offense in there at the end when you guys were up big. Was there an element of sort of this is our offense when it's all together, so you try to keep it rolling there at the very end?
Oh, I think we just, I wanted to continue to try and run the football, and I never really felt super comfortable. Even on that until we did score the last touchdown. So, obviously as things go on, we'll have to be more productive throwing the ball. I thought we were efficient though, which is what we'll need to be. But, I just want to keep those guys in there working together and having a chance to kind of grow.
Justin, after each Boston College touchdown tonight, you responded immediately. On the first play, after the first touchdown, Hendon goes for 30-some yards. And on the second play, after the second touchdown, Khalil goes for 50-some yards. How important important were those counters to come back and score immediately after they had?
Well, momentum is a very real thing, and recapturing it can sometimes be difficult. And we've talked about that at times during fall camp and previous springs about how when you're out there and one side of the ball is getting the best of the other side of the ball, having the mental discipline to strain and focus in and try to respond to that to regain that momentum is an important part of football. And it was nice for us to kind of answer the bell, so to speak, when they did grab some momentum and maybe had some things going. Gives your defense a little bit longer to sit over there and talk about things and draw things up, but also flips field position and then ultimately hopefully leads to scores.
And then also you mentioned the need to be more productive in the passing game. Do you have any idea what Trey's status is after tonight?
I do not. He was on the sideline and seemed fine, but I don't know anything other than he wasn't available for the rest of the game.
Use the raise hand function, guys. Norm.
Justin, you touched on the turnovers. You guys had only forced 3 turnovers in the season coming into tonight, all on picks. You got a couple of really huge fumble recoveries on BC's first 2 possessions when they driven into your territory, primarily on the strength of a running game that hadn't really been all that great coming into tonight. How much of a momentum boost was that just to kind of get things flipped around? I know you only scored on 1 of the 2, but just to kind of keep them from continue to push down the field was something that hadn't worked for them really well coming into tonight.
Yeah, I felt fortunate, to be honest with you, that I don't know what the halftime score was. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I felt fortunate to be in that situation because of those 2 turnovers. I think you could argue maybe one was forced and one was unforced, maybe, but those were big plays as we were trying to gain our footing defensively.
Mike Nisolek.
Yeah, you put, I think, Nick Galloway at receiver for much of the second half, and with Trey out, how thin are you guys at receiver? I know you said you're kind of bringing some guys along, but how tough is that when you're down one of your main guys right now? That's tough.
Yeah, we're working diligently to bring those other guys along. We have played quite a bit in 12 personnel, and that's all we did today. So with 1 back and 2 tight ends and 2 wideouts. So James and Nick have been on the field at the same time quite a bit. So that's not a real departure from anything we've done before. Sometimes Nick splits out, sometimes James splits out. They're pretty versatile when it comes to that. So, but yeah, we do need to continue. I was pleased to see Caleb continues to get better. He's becoming productive on special teams and productive offensively. Raheem is a guy that can do some things in the slot. He played a little bit in the slot tonight. I think we'll continue to expand what he's able to do. So, we have to develop our depth on the outside, and that some of that development has been delayed due to all of the missed time and missed practices, and now we're in the middle of the season, so it's a little bit difficult, as you can imagine. We're in game plan mode, and there's not a lot of get better practices. There's not a lot of bye weeks left on the season. The one that is on there is way down the road, so that probably makes bringing those guys along a little bit more difficult, and maybe it takes a little bit longer than it would if we were in the middle of fall camp.
You mentioned Raheem. Is that he got a couple carries tonight, had a catch. Is that why it's hard for him to kind of? You haven't really carved out the role you maybe had hoped for him yet, just because he's missed practice time too.
Well, that's part of it. He came back the day before the NC State game and played limited, but hurt his hamstring and didn't practice much the next week, but has kind of found his footing and doing. I just think it's going to continue to expand. If Khalil goes and rushes for 300 yards, it's not going to be not going to be a lot of touches to go around after that. But I do believe Raheem is going to continue. He's just so smart and talented. He's going to continue to contribute, both playing some slot and playing running back.
And just one more for me. With Jermaine Waller, do you anticipate him being out long term? Was this the arm thing that kept him out at the end of the game last week, or something different?
No, I anticipate. First of all, this is not what kept him out for a long time throughout the off season and fall camp. He desperately wants to play, and I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good to go this week. Think.
Aaron, did you have anything?
Not really, but I'll ask this question anyway. Justin, the band was here tonight for the first time. Just being in the stadium, I don't know, up here it felt like it was a little different atmosphere than the first game. You played well in the first game, and it seemed a little dead. But did you notice anything different about that?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Like, I hope we can each home game continue to add a little bit more atmosphere. Maybe as we go through the season, the rules from Richmond will change. But I thought it was great to have them. I mean, it was obvious, in my opinion, it was obviously a different atmosphere. Part of the things that make college football special are our bands and cheerleaders and alumni and all those sorts of things. So it was great having them there.
All right. Anybody else for Coach Fuente?
I have a question.
Tim, go ahead, and then we'll get to Julian.
Hey, Coach, Divine Diablo returns tonight. There were some stats about when Diablo had missed time and when he had been playing, and there's about 15-point disparity for your defense. Why does your defense seem to have so much more success with him on the field?
Are those stats from this year or from years past?
Yeah, beyond the but what do you see from him tonight as well?
Is that from this year or from years past?
From this year, past year as well, when he's been starting.
I got you. Well, I mean, he has so much experience. He can play any of the positions out there. He's makes all the calls and all the checks, and he's a good player on top of that. And he's a captain. He's a leader. He's well respected in the locker room. They treat him with reverence. He's an adult, a grown-up. So he has a huge impact on our team on a daily basis, not just on game day. He's a special person.
A couple more. Jermaine?
Coach, first of all, congratulations on the victory. I got to ask you, now when you look at this game overall, the way the offense played, getting, again, over 300 yards rushing, and then you guys got 5 turnovers on defense, would it be safe to say that out of all the games you played this year, this is probably the most complete game y'all played?
Oh, I'd say it's the one we had the most guys available for practice and play for. This is the one that we have the most coaches, there. We're still a work in progress. We have a lot of work to do. We've got to try to stay healthy and bring some guys along in the back end. We've got to continue to develop our pass rush. We've got to develop wide receivers that can come in and continue to play. Keyshawn King is another one that has made a big play on the kickoff return. I thought that was a huge play in the game. They sky kicked it right to him, and he took it basically back to midfield, and he took a lot of pride in us scoring after that return. He's another one that's going to play a role for us as we move forward. So we've got a lot of work to do. Basically we play all conference games. With Liberty, who's undefeated. So every week's going to be a battle, and it's just fun to see, see if we can continue to get better.
Julian, did you have something? Okay.
I have a question.
All right, Chris, we've got to roll. We've got Khalil Herbert here, so thank you, Coach. We've got Khalil coming in next.
Okay.
Khalil, you guys have done this running the ball in a couple different weeks now. This is the first time you've done it with Hendon as the quarterback as well. What does he bring to this offense when he's out there?
He's just a dynamic playmaker. We get a good job if the O-line does a great job of opening up holes for either one of us, and some pull reads open up, and he's able to just make plays with his feet.
Did you two have a little competition about it?
Yeah, definitely. We just try and help the team any way we can, but we're gonna talk about it when we get back home. So I think he's gonna have a little bit more to talk about than me today. So.
All right, use the raise hand function, guys. Mike Nisley, do you have something?
When you had that screen and it was blocked up the entire left side, you have Taros out in front of you. Is there an easier play than that?
No, man.
You have 5 guys in front of you.
Yeah. Before the play, they even told me touchdown. Those guys just do a great job getting downfield, just bullying people downfield and making it easy for me. So I really appreciate the guys on the line.
David Teal?
Bill, can you please describe the play where you went for, I think it was 57 yards shortly after BC had scored to cut the lead to 17-14?
Just along the game, I just seen their linebackers taking away the cutback. So I was telling the guys I was gonna press outside on the outside zone some more, and I was able to press and it opened up. Chris made a great big block, opened up a big hole for me. Lasitas had cut off the inside, so it was a big hole for me to run through, and was able to just run.
Do you consider yourself a patient runner? Because from upstairs here, it looks like you'll pause and just kind of survey the line and then pick your spots.
Yeah, definitely. I say that it just helps me be able to slow things down and read the defense while I'm running.
Norm, did you have something?
Hey, Khalil, on your 29-yard screen pass that you took in for a touchdown, you were sort of running behind Darisaw, who's pushing that dude down the field 2 or 3 times. Kind of describe from your perspective what that's like when you're running behind him.
Oh man, it's
toying with a guy like that, and Hoffman's also out
yeah.
there.
It's great. It's just they make it. They called it before the snap. Like I said, they make it real easy. Just get out there, and I literally could just maneuver my way through. They do a great job blocking guys downfield, being real agile and moving. So, shouts out.
I know you're a win first guy and all that good stuff, but you've got 4 consecutive 100-plus rushing games now. Are you becoming aware of that, and does that become more and more important to you as the games go on?
No, not at all. I just whatever I had to do to help the team win, whether it be catching, blocking, returning, whatever it is, I'm gonna do it. So, if the yards come, they come. But happy to get the dub first and foremost.
Tim, do you have something for Khalil?
Yeah, Khalil, I know Raheem Black had that 28-yard touchdown run tonight. I know Justin mentioned earlier that he's been dealing with some injuries earlier this season. What have you seen from him dealing with all these things to get to this point where he seems to be finding his legs a little?
Yeah, just positivity. He keeps working hard every day in practice. He keeps the guys up. He keeps me up sometimes too. But that was just a really good run by him, man. I just love to see that. He made some guys miss, broke a couple tackles. You seen the speed on the outside, man, and he did a great job. So happy for him to finally get in the end zone, So we're gonna have a little party back at the apartment, just us 3.
All right, Andy, do you want to start off with Devon?
Divine, after missing a couple weeks, how did it feel to get back out there? And what do you think about this opportunistic defense with the turnover you guys forced?
It felt great getting back out there with my teammates. I missed them guys, and I felt bad that I couldn't be out there the previous 2 weeks. And creating turnovers, that's what we worked for all week, and I'm just glad we got the ball out.
Andy, I'm sorry, Mike.
You played boundary safety this week. You kind of reshuffled things a little bit.
Yes, I was at boundary safety this week. Devin Taylor was at free safety, and as you can see from the game, we were focused on man coverage, and I was following the tight end around.
So was it easy then, just because of the assignment? Or, I mean, how challenging that was that for you to kind of switch over?
It wasn't really challenging. I challenged myself to learn the whole defense, know what everybody's doing from day one, so it was pretty easy move for me.
And what about Taylor? You know, he's obviously cornerback with experience, but he only has a week of practice. How tough was that for him, and how much did he lean on you this week?
Devin Taylor's actually really smart. He didn't lean on me much. He knew what he was doing. Coach Ham did a good job of making it simple for the guys, and we just went out there and executed.
When you say making it simple, what's kind of the key at that position? Or what's one or two of the keys that he had to kind of follow?
Just focus on the motions and stay deep. It was the key.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
David, did you have something for Devine?
No, I'm good, Pete, thank you.
Michael?
Devon, you guys had the big win today, and what was the biggest thing that you guys were going against, playing against Boston College, is offense with their transfer quarterback, noted Dames Jerkovich?
The biggest thing we focused on this week was stopping the run game. That was number one. And going to their best receivers, number 4, Zay Flowers, and 80. His last name long, I don't know his first name, but that was our focus. And we just played from there.
Norm, did you have anything for Devine?
Yeah, just wondering after he had such a difficult debut in his first active game as defensive coordinator, did you guys have a moment with Justin after the game tonight to kind of celebrate his first win as defensive coordinator? I don't know if that came up or if you guys talked about it with him or anything like that.
Me personally, I have a very good relationship with Coach Ham. He came up to me, we hugged each other, told him I love him, and let's keep it going.
Anybody else for Devine?
Can I ask a question for Devon?
Sure.
Hey Devon, it's Chris Idell from Herberton Radio in Baltimore. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Just talk about your defense. 3-1. After 4 games, 3-1. Is this a different type of defense this year than last year at this time?
Yes, way different. I feel like we try to match up our best with their best now instead of just, let's just say we do a good job of game planning. That's what I want to say.
All right. Thank you, Devine. We got Rock Hoffman coming in next.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Mike Nosley?
Brock, with this key and this offensive line at this point, I mean, did you, with all the players that missed practice, did you feel like you guys would be at this point so early in the season, or did you think it might take longer? I mean, you guys seem like you guys have played a dozen games together.
Yeah, no, I didn't think it would. I thought we would perform this way this early in the season. I mean, just from the way we've worked back to last year all the way, improving as the year went on and, really gelling together once we got back from COVID in the summertime. And then in camp, I mean, Coach Weiss just, challenged us all camp in different positions. I mean, different ways of motivating us and gelling us together. And I think it's really, really, really shown in these first couple games.
What kind of ways did he try to motivate you? Can you share something?
Weiss is, him and Fuente both have a good way of challenging us. Back at the NC State game, he talked about how they had this big nose guard and, showed a couple clips of us. And all he did was just hype him up all week. And, I mean, by the time game time was there, I mean, we were ready to go after him.
And it's the same way this week. I mean, they talked about how physical this defense was and how they're just, pretty basic in what they do, but they're going to play harder than us. That's what they kept saying. They're going to play harder. They're going to play harder, and they're more physical. And, I mean, it kind of pissed us off throughout the week, and by the time, we were ready to step out there, we were ready to make them, not seem like they were physical. We were ready to be the physical people.
Is that a different approach than you've had with past coaches? I mean, is that fun for you? You seem to enjoy it.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoy it. I mean, obviously, back in the NC State week, Coach Fuente would call me out kind of in front of the whole team saying, you better be ready, you better be ready. I mean, I was like, all right, come on. Like, I'm ready to shut you up, like I'm ready to get after it, so.
Andy?
Yeah, Brock, I'm curious. You had the entire first team offense in there at the very end, and Hendon still running the ball when you guys are up 20 in the final minutes. Is there an element of that where, hey, we're going to keep coming at you even at the tail end of this game?
Oh, for sure. I mean, all week, like I said, they talked about how physical they were. I mean, we had them where we wanted them, and I mean, you kind of got to finish them. You got them down, you got to put them down. You got to finish them.
Considering the disruption that Hendon had to his practice over the last month and kind of what he's been through, have you been surprised with how quickly he has hit his stride and really haven't shown any rust in this last game and a half?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say I was surprised by it because of the way he's. Obviously he's been modified in certain things, but, I mean, I think he's prepared pretty well. Even when he was out, he was always, locked in mentally, and I think that's really what's helped him over his weeks of being out and modified and then, coming back and ready to go.
Norm, did you have anything for Brock?
Nope, I'm good, thank you.
All right. Anybody else for Brock? Aaron?
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Brock, I know you're a guy that thrives on emotion, and maybe it's just me, and maybe I'm just getting used to this COVID situation, but it felt like there was more energy in the stadium tonight than there was the opener. I don't know if the band had something to do with that, or if you could sense that at all.
Yeah, no, I definitely thought the game I definitely agree with you there. I mean, that probably part of it had to be with the band being in there and probably, more people in there. But, yeah, no, I mean, Coach Fuente preaches to us. I mean, we got to bring our own juice because there's not 66,000 people in there. So, it's just kind of like a fall camp scrimmage. Each side's got to bring their own juice to play well because the team with the most juice and the team that wants it the most is going to win.
But is there also something to just kind of getting used to it and kind of understanding what you're going to see?
Yeah, no, I mean, where I come from before this university, we didn't play in front of a lot of fans, so I've always kind of been used to it. I definitely think for the guys, it was people were just kind of getting used to, playing in front of 1,000, 1,500 people,
Right.
Yep.
Anybody else for Brock?
I have one more, Pete.
Yep.
With you guys obviously focused on the win, and that's most important. But when you look at the stat sheets and when you look at the numbers, the rushing numbers, and some of the things you guys are doing, is there anything that stood out to you the last couple of weeks that you're able to kind of look at and say, that's impressive? I mean, are you able to do that at all? Like, what stands out to you?
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, after the first game, I don't remember the numbers, but it was over 300 yards rushing or something like that. And, I mean, kind of our mindset in the game is, like, we want to hit that goal at some point. We're not, like, sitting there, okay, looking at the scoreboard, all right, how many yards are we at? But, I mean, when we do, like, a little sideline huddle and we kind of look over there, we're like, all right, 288, like, let's go run. Let's go get over 300, That's kind of our goal. And, I mean, we've hit that every game except for one, I think, but we were pretty close to that. So, no, I'm definitely pleased with how we're blocking and running the ball on offense. Definitely hitting 300-plus yards, rushing the ball pretty close to every game is pretty good. Yep.
All right. Thank you, Brock.
Yep.
Just to finish up radio, and then they'll be in here, okay?
Cool.
Stand by. All right, brother. All right. Keep smashing it. Yes, sir. Yeah, will be our last contestant here.
First off with Hendon.
Yeah, Hendon, when you lower your shoulder like that and push a guy back like 5 yards on that touchdown run you had, is that a play you could have made a year ago or 2 years ago? Do you think that you were able to kind of do that? Do you feel like you kind of make so many gains that you're able to do that now?
I feel like I could have made that a couple years ago. I feel like I have the more confidence to do it now than I did then. Yes, sir.
Andy.
Yeah, Hendon, you were still in the game late. Game was pretty well decided. We asked Brock about that. He said it was sort of, kind of setting a message like you guys weren't going to back down in this whole thing. Were you happy to be in a game late like that and get a rush and punch it in for another touchdown to get it up to 40?
Always good to finish it off with a touchdown drive, and that's what we were trying to do. So, and it's also just a blessing to be out there having fun. So I'll stay out there all day if they let me.
I was going to say, after kind of what you went through, do you appreciate it more than just every snap that you get?
Yes, sir, I do.
Norm.
And as an RPO quarterback, how much easier does it make life for you when you have a guy like Khalil back there who's running for as many yards as he is, game-by-game basis, 100 yards in 4 consecutive games?
Mm-hmm.
Does that kind of, it's got to create opportunities for you?
It definitely does, and it also makes the offense so much more dangerous. To have him and to have Raheem Blackshear as well, who who scored a touchdown tonight and looked very explosive. I was excited to see him, back to his regular self. So it definitely helps the offense out in a big way.
David Fields, did you have anything for Hendon?
And how important was it that each time Boston College scored, you guys immediately countered with a touchdown? The first time off, you had that big long run to start the drive, and then the second time you countered was when Khalil had the really long drive.
Mm-hmm.
Run, excuse me.
Yeah, we just tried, like I said earlier, we just tried to make first downs, and first downs equals touchdowns. So once we got it rolling, you never know what's gonna happen. We have such a special offense. You never know when that one play is just gonna break open for a huge gain or a touchdown.
Mike Nicely, you had a follow-up?
Yeah, and then, Trey goes down tonight and missed the second half. Guys are trying to get guys ready at receiver. How have you tried to help that group? Because, it's very thin right now.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you think you'll see more from Evan and Chang as kind of the season goes on?
Mm-hmm. Definitely, those are two very talented players, and they're getting into the new system. They're getting the flow of things. They're getting back into game mode. So just spending all our free time together and just going over different plays, getting our chemistry down is definitely going to be critical in the future.
Do you get extra reps in with them?
Mm-hmm.
Extra practice in? Is that something
Yeah.
you've kind of been focused on?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Extra film, just any way to help those guys along.
Tim, did you have anything for Hendon?
Yeah, and then you mentioned Raheem had his touchdown. I think he's second of the season. Justin mentioned earlier that he's been dealing with some injuries, or at least earlier in the season was dealing with some injuries. What have you seen from him kind of since he's kind of dealt with that to get to this point where he seems to be finding his legs again?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I'm happy for him. He's my roommate. We talk every day. I just kind of give him some encouragement when he was down with his injury. Just give him some encouragement, like, you're going to bounce back and be back to your regular self in no time. And tonight he proved that he can make anyone miss an open field, and he's very explosive and very exciting to watch.
Darren?
Hey, Hendon,
Mm-hmm.
You were under pressure. How do you decide like when to do which? You know, when to try to extend it and when to just give up and throw it away.
Honestly, depending on the play, when I threw it away, it was a screen pass, so there's no other option other than to try to run to escape, which I was already 15 yards deep in the pocket, so just had to burn it. And then early in the game, just getting out of the pocket, we had kind of a 5-man protection. We got an overload blitz, so I was hot. Just tried to get out of there, make a play.
Jermaine?
Hey, Hamden, first of all, congratulations on the victory tonight. I remember last year after a post-game press conference you were talking about in your high school days, you weren't really considered a dual-threat quarterback. But it seems like that has changed a little bit as you've come to Virginia Tech. From your perspective, you feel that has changed, that you are considered now a dual-threat quarterback?
Yes, sir. Kind of considered a dual threat quarterback because of how I can just make plays. But in my eyes, you know, it's just playing football. So I really don't put a label on it.
All right, thank you, Hendon.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be it for tonight.